Hello to all of you who are interested in Python programming language. Thank you for being with me in this educational video. In this section, we want to talk about the string and the text. Almost in most Python programs, you need to work with text files. Either the input is in the form of a text file, or the output is in the form of a text expression or a string expression. You have already met some of these things. Here we want to work with these strings and texts in a more professional way. We know string and str as data type from the introductory section. Here we want to improve the knowledge we have about them in the discussion of text management. We are looking for a phrase, or we want to make a replacement or something like this. We can do some of these tasks using the same built-in methods. But for better performance, more advanced modules are needed. Here we want to learn better efficiency. Let's have a markdown cell here. Insert a square sign and consider a space and write the a string and text, for example, like this. Okay. The first argument is split strings from arbitrary and different positions. Let's have another markdown cell, another square, another space, and write the topic split strings from arbitrary and different positions. You have a string and you want to split it into several parts from somewhere. We have already introduced the split method for this task and said that it receives a separator. Consider a string, for example, A as A, B, C. For example, A, B, comma, C, comma, D, E. For example, consider this string. We want to use the simple split built-in method. The separator is comma. The separator is comma. Okay, you can see the output here. Now consider if this a string is like this. For example, this one is not a comma. Okay, if we want to use the same built-in split method and give it two separator items like these, you can see that we get an error. So this split is not useful for when you want to do different and multiple divisions. In these cases, we have to use the RE module. RE stands for regular expressions. You can visit, excuse me, let's go to, you can visit these two websites, the W3 School and the documentations of the Python itself. You can read these descriptions. There are various examples on this site. As you can see, a regular expression is a sequence of characters. This sequence defines a search pattern for us. Usually these patterns are used in string searching algorithms. You can read these information and the explanations. Okay, there are the special characters here. Hat this symbol matches at the beginning of the string, a dot accepts any characters except a new line, star means nothing or more than these matchings. You can read these explanations to gain more knowledge. It is very convenient to use these regular expressions. In general, you need a template. Now inside this RE module, you have a series of methods like, for example, find all. Let me find them. These are okay. There are the functions find all, search, split, sub. How to write this search pattern? Regular expressions have a series of meta characters which are actually characters with a special meaning. These are the meta characters. You can read the explanations here actually. That is, these meta characters are interpreted in other ways. In this way, flexibility increases a lot. This backslash specifies, this is the backslash, specifies a special sequence, and you can see that it has a different interpretation depending on what letter comes after it. You can see here the different interpretations here depends on what character is after the backslash. R is often seen before this backslash, and it means that the string is a raw string. You can see that sets have different interpretations in different situations. You can read this description here. The W3 site has explained a little more briefly, but these explanations are useful while being brief. We wanted to give a set of characters and have various divisions. Back to our Jupyter tab. Okay. At first, we need to import the RE module. And then we want to define T as a string, for example. I considered more than one spaces here. I want to mention a point by this. Now we want to use RE split, the split function inside the RE module. These are which shows that this is a raw string. This comma colon and a backslash s which stands for space. I think here I need okay. And T. Okay, you can see that the string is separated, and here there are still some spaces, a white space. This backslash s stands for white space. I wanted to separate this string based on these separators, and I did not want to show the separator itself, but because there are more than one white spaces here there were just one white space between this H and this P, so the only white space was removed, and the two parts are returned here. But in these cases which the available white spaces are more than one of them are removed is removed, and the other white spaces are returned here. We leave these R so that \s is interpreted as a special sequence. I said that this stands for white space. You can see that after execution, after running actually, out of several empty spaces, only one was removed and the rest was shown in the output. For solving this problem, we want to make a change in this code. We want to consider another \s, this time with a star expression. You can see that this time there is no extra white spaces here. You can see that we reached the desired output and removed the extra characters. If we put any of the symbols plus, star, dot, either or, parentheses, $, or curly braces inside the brackets, it will not have any special meanings. So here we needed to mention this \s out of this square bracket in order to mention our desired interpretation of this star expression. So we should have used this sign star outside the bracket. To analyze each of these characters, you have to write them again outside the bracket. It's as if we said that after considering these characters, delete them no matter how many spaces there are. In this case, you can use capture group, and these characters must be separated with an either or. In this case, we will have both the separated parts and the separators themselves. For example, consider a variable f re dot s split r a tuple. This is the either or, comma, again either or, column, again either or, and the same \s. And we want to actually this \s, and we since we want to delete the whole white spaces, we consider these star expressions too, and we want to apply these on the same T string. Now let's show this f. Okay, this f is a list, so we can apply square bracket notation on it, and for example this returns the separated parts, and actually we can consider something like this. Okay, and this returns the separator parts. If we use a question mark and a colon before the characters, this grouping will be done, but it will be a non-capture group. This is, we will not have access to the group of separators. Let's define f2 as re dot split. These are question mark, colon, and again mention the separators with either or character. We want to delete the whole spaces, and we want to apply this. Okay, we forget to end this string here. Let's consider this as f2. Okay, let's show this f2, and you can see that we do not access to the separator groups this time. The first discussion ends here. The next discussion is matching text at the beginning or end of a string. So we need another markdown cell, another square sign space, and write the topic. In some cases, you need to match and search the beginning and end of a string. For example, you are looking for a specific extension among the files. There are two ways to do this. Let's have a comment here to mention the topics str.starts with and str.ends with. Actually, two parentheses are needed here. Okay, let's consider a file name, a variable here, data.csv, and we want to use this ends with, for example. .csv. You can see that this is true because the ending part of this string is .csv, so it returns a boolean value. Or when we write the same code, and this time instead of .csv, consider, for example, .txt, this would be false. Okay, let's do the same. This time, instead of ends with, we want to write starts with, and for example, data. You can see that this is true. Now, if we write the same code and the input argument will be data5, this time, and the output is false. For example, this is at the Udemy website address. If we consider a variable URL, and say, for example, URL dot starts with, for example, HTTP, you can see that the output is false. But if we consider this code and the input argument HTTPS instead of HTTP, you can see that the output is true this time. For example, we can consider if URL dot ends with example, .org. You can see that the output is false. But if we consider the same code with the input argument .com, you can see that it is true. If you want to do this check in cases where we have multiple choices, we need to give ends with a tuple. For example, consider a variable file names is equal to, for example, data1.csv data2.csv, for example, data.xls, inks, for example, data for that this time .txt, for example, something like project 00.py. Some files are like these. For example, file 5.mat, or for example, project 06 .c, something like this. We use list comprehension here. We want the name for name in file names. If name, for example, ends with, for example, .mat, and for example .py. Incomplete input. Oh, okay. We forgot to end this square bracket. Name for naming file names. If name that ends with, okay. Let me consider something. Okay, the problem is using the same tuples. Okay, we needed to define a variable like this. Actually, we can define a variable like extension and consider the two extensions we wanted, and also we can do the same. For example, consider .mat and .py like this, and okay, you can see that we got error. Actually, it might be about the nearest updates of the version which I'm using. The previous versions supports using the same format, so okay, but no problem. You can use something like this. When you face with such errors, you can get help from a third variable, just like what I did here. I defined a variable, an extra variable, as a tuple of wanted extensions. Okay. For example, if we want to check if the XLSX file is in this list or not, we can use the any name dot ends with dot slx xls x for naming file names. You can see that this returns true to us because this is that XLSX file available in our list. For example, we want to define URLs as a list of, for example, HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, and for example, you address of Udemy actually the string format. And say you starts with the same with the URLs. You can see that we get an error because the first argument of starts with must be a tuple or a string and not a list. So we can do it like this, tuple form of this URLs, and you can see that at this time this works. We used to do the same thing using indexing. For example, we want to say f is data 8.txt. We can actually act like this and use the square bracket notation. For example, equal to, for example, .txt. We can act like this too, but this is not such convenient. For example, we have this u, say u, for example, from the first until the 6th is equal to, for example, HTTPS, or u from the beginning to 5th is equal to, for example, HTTP, and or again the same u from the 1st to the 4th equal to, for example, FTP. Needless to say again that in square bracket notation the end parameter is up to but not included. This is excluded. Okay, and you can see that this is true because it starts with HTTPS. As you can see, using the ends with and starts with method is more optimal. The same things can be done with regular expressions. Again, we should import the RE module. For example, we want to use the match method of this module, HTTPS either or character, HTTP either or character, FTP, and actually we should mention the desired string. Okay, you can see that this code returns a match object, and you can find the information you wanted here. This matches, it says to us that this matches HTTPS span at 0 between the indexes of 0 and 6 here. We will continue to discuss strings in future videos. Thank you for being with me in another educational video of the Python programming language. Again, I suggest you stay tuned and don't miss the tips in the next videos. Have a beautiful day.